Most older men don't lose younger women because of age. They lose them because of habits they don't even realize are pushing her away. Attraction isn't about the number of years you've lived. It's about the energy you bring into the room, the way you carry yourself, and how you make someone feel in your presence. Yet, many older men unknowingly sabotage their chances with younger women, not because they lack value, but because they lean into behaviors that create distance instead of connection. It's not always obvious. In fact, some of these habits can seem normal, even logical, but they slowly erode attraction over time. The truth is, younger women are not just looking for maturity. They're drawn to emotional awareness, confidence without control, and presence without pressure. And when those elements are missing, attraction doesn't just fade, it disappears fast. He starts off thinking he's doing everything right, being available, being helpful, being consistent. But what he doesn't realize is that attraction doesn't grow from effort alone. One of the biggest mistakes older men make is over explaining themselves and over justifying every small decision as if they are trying to prove their worth instead of simply living it. At first, it may seem harmless, even responsible, but to a younger woman, it slowly starts to feel like insecurity wrapped in good intentions. Instead of creating mystery and confidence, it creates pressure and predictability. When a man constantly seeks validation through his words, it changes the natural balance of interaction. She no longer feels intrigued, she feels managed. And the more he tries to hold her attention through explanations, the more she begins to emotionally step back. Attraction is not built in long speeches or constant reassurance. It is built in presence, calmness, and the ability to be comfortable without forcing understanding. What he fails to see is that silence, when used correctly, can be more powerful than endless justification. A grounded man doesn't rush to defend every move. He allows his actions to speak. And in that space of quiet confidence, curiosity grows naturally. But when every moment is filled with explanation, curiosity dies. And once curiosity is gone, so is attraction. Another subtle mistake that pushes younger women away is when an older man starts to behave like he is trying too hard to be liked instead of simply being respected. At first, his attention may feel flattering, quick replies, constant check-ins, and always being available, but over time, it begins to feel overwhelming rather than attractive. What he sees as care, she slowly experiences as emotional pressure. Attraction needs space to breathe through. But when a man fills every gap with messages, approval-seeking behavior, or unnecessary availability, he removes that space completely. Instead of allowing emotions to build naturally, he forces constant interaction, and that destroys the natural rhythm of interest. A younger woman doesn't want a man who is always there in a way that feels predictable and easy to access. She is drawn to a man whose presence feels intentional, not dependent. The deeper issue is not effort, it is attachment without balance. When a man subconsciously starts to center his emotional state around her responses, she can feel it. Even if she cannot explain it, she begins to sense that his mood, confidence, and attention are being controlled by her behavior. And nothing kills attraction faster than feeling like someone is emotionally leaning on you too early. True confidence is not about distance, it is about stability. It is the ability to stay grounded, whether she replies fast or slow, whether she is fully engaged or slightly distant. When a man can maintain that inner calm, he naturally becomes more attractive. But when he loses himself in constant pursuit, he doesn't pull her closer, he slowly pushes her away. One of the most damaging patterns older men fall into is trying to impress through control rather than connection. It often starts subtly, offering too much advice too quickly, correcting her opinions, or trying to guide every conversation toward what he believes is right. In his mind, it comes from experience and wisdom, but in her emotional world, it begins to feel like restriction instead of attraction. Younger women are not drawn to a man who makes them feel smaller in conversation. They are drawn to someone who expands their thinking. The moment she feels like she has to agree just to keep peace or adjust her personality to avoid disagreement, the emotional spark starts fading. Because attraction is not built in agreement alone, it is built in freedom, where both people can think, speak, and exist without pressure. Another hidden issue is the need to always be the leader in every moment. While leadership can be attractive, forced dominance feels heavy. When every discussion turns into correction, instruction, or subtle superiority, the emotional dynamic shifts from connection to hierarchy. And once she starts feeling like she is being positioned rather than understood, she quietly disconnects. What he doesn't realize is that younger women pay close attention to emotional safety, not just words. If she feels judged, managed, or intellectually overshadowed, she will not argue. She will simply withdraw. And that withdrawal is often silent, gradual, and irreversible. True attraction grows when a man can listen without immediately fixing, respond without overpowering, and share space without needing to control it. Because in that kind of emotional freedom, she doesn't feel directed, she feels seen, and that feeling is what keeps her naturally drawn in. At the end of it all, attraction doesn't fade overnight. It slowly disappears in the space between intention and impact. Most older men don't lose younger women because they lack value, experience, or character. They lose them because certain patterns, even when well meant, begin to feel emotionally heavy, predictable, or controlling over time. What starts as care can turn into pressure. What starts as interest can turn into dependence. And what starts as guidance can turn into emotional restriction. And in that shift, the natural spark begins to weaken. Younger women are not looking for perfection. They are looking for emotional balance, confidence, and a presence that feels light rather than overwhelming. The truth is, attraction grows where there is calm energy, mutual respect, and space to breathe. When a man is grounded in himself, not chasing approval, not over-explaining, and not trying to manage every emotional reaction, he naturally becomes more magnetic. But when those lines blur, even unintentionally, distance becomes inevitable. In the end, it's not about changing who you are, it's about becoming aware of how you show up. Because the smallest adjustments in behavior can decide whether she leans in with curiosity or slowly steps away in silence.